Coming to you live from the Business RadioX studio, it's Franchise Marketing Radio. Elevate your franchise with Franchise Now. We tell your brand story on our radio podcast and boost it with powerful content marketing strategies. From blogs and videos to infographics and more, we enhance your brand's SEO and online visibility. Let Franchise Now help your franchise stand out in a crowded market. Visit us today and learn more to start your journey for greater visibility and success. And now, here's your host.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Franchise Marketing Radio. I'm your host, Rob Ganley, and today we're going to talk fitness again. I know we talked fitness recently and a lot, but we love that model. And I have someone with me that's been on the show before. It's great to have her back. Today I have with me Terri Harof. She is the Director of Global Franchise Development at Workout Anytime Franchising, but Workout Anytime, I know I'm familiar with the brand, and I know they're getting bigger and bigger, so you probably are too. But Terri, it's great to have you back. Welcome back.
Thank you, Rob. Great to be here. I appreciate you inviting me back.
You got it. Yeah. Well, it's great. Like I said, I do like talking fitness. I've gotten more fit now in my journey. I was fit as a younger person and then had a middle part of my life where I wasn't quite doing so good. And now I'm fit again. And I just feel like it makes all the difference in the world. The last 10 years that I've put that ahead in my life and had the time, it's just so impactful to the mindset, to everything, to family. I think there's many angles, even though it could be as straight up as barbells and training and things, but there's a lot to the model. And I just love talking about it and the impact it makes in certain communities. So, but before we jump in, tell us a little bit about your journey to where you are now and a little bit of your role with the brand.
Well, interestingly enough, I got into the fitness business when I was in college, and I worked for a Southeastern brand that was based here in Georgia, which is where I am. And the vice president at that brand is one of our founders, John Quattrocchi. And so he was my first boss in the fitness business when I was in college. And when I graduated from college, I decided to pursue the fitness business. And so I got into management. And then after a couple of years was the area director in charge of Georgia, but I also helped with locations in Tennessee and Florida and throughout the South. And so that's, so I've always had a love for the fitness business. I started teaching group fitness classes when I was in college, and I'm still teaching today, all these years later. It's the one thing that I've consistently done for myself. For all of these years, my whole adult life, including teaching when I was pregnant with all three of my sons. So I live it. I love it. It's a very, very important piece of my life. And my kids and my husband also are very active, and they all have a love for fitness as well. And it's a business that I just really believe in because it's a business that everybody needs. Prior to selling gym franchises, I had a friend who owned a bunch of restaurants, and they were franchises. And he invited me to be a part of his business and kind of made me an offer I couldn't refuse to get into franchising. And I did it for several years. But my aha moment was I would never own a restaurant, and I would never let anybody I knew and loved own one. And it's not because you can't be successful, because you can, but you're very tethered to the business. And when my former boss approached me about, representing their brand, and now I had all these years of franchise experience, it was a no-brainer for me because I knew both founders, and I'd known the one since I was 19 years old, so for many, many years. And they're good stand-up people, and they know this industry inside and out, and they opened up, they started Workout Anytime, not as a franchise, but just as independently owned gyms. And within 5 years, they had 9 locations, and they had a lot of people saying, hey, we really like this 24-hour model. Back in those days, it was called the key card gym. And we had several people who wanted to get into franchising. So then 5 years in, they started franchising, which is now 20 years ago. We've been in business 25 years, but franchising for 20. And, once they got big enough to where they could afford me, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
They gave me the opportunity to work with them, and it's a business. I mean, I don't own a franchise with Work at Any Time at this point, but it's something I would absolutely consider. I have friends who've bought franchises from me, and needless to say, if you're going to let somebody that you do know and love get into this industry, clearly you believe in it, and I do. And so, so I've been with Work at Any Time selling the franchises for 6 years. And prior to that, and prior to getting into franchising, I was actually in advertising and marketing. And I worked in sports marketing, and then I got into full service marketing. Then I opened my own agency, and I actually worked with Work at Any Time on their consumer marketing when they first opened. So I've been a part of this brand and have known the founders, for many, many, many years. And it's a brand I totally believe in, and I love.
Well, first of all, I have to tell everybody, yeah, you're definitely someone who lives fitness because you have three sons that are all at a college level of athletics. So you kind of got to love fitness if you're going to go down that road, right? But I also, and you made another comment about, the stand-up guys that you're a part of the brand. And I just feel like that's a big thing for anyone who hasn't listened to the show a lot. It's like, it's the same thing every time. It's like franchising is such it's kind of hard to be a bad guy in franchising. It's not going to last long for you if you're a bad
right.
So the whole idea, it's a network. It's like we're a body. We're together. We're connected. We're all, success is a measure of all of our success. And so I just love that. I just love to point that out. Like, yes, and that has to be the case almost with every brand we talk to is that's what I love about franchising and the concept of it. And that's why I think like what you're describing is an example of just having the ability to be a part of something and make an impact and believe in it. And that's hard sometimes to do outside of franchising, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of roles within franchising, whether you're owner or working with a brand. It's just a very unique experience. And I think a lot of fulfillment. So anyway, I just tossed that in because it just came to me the way you were framing all that.
Well, and I tell you, this business is such a cool business because you have the ability to change lives. I mean, you really, truly do. Having been in and around gyms, my whole adult life, it's amazing the friends that I've made and the stories I've heard about, how the gym has changed people's lives. Like you said, you were in shape and then you kind of got out of working out and now you're back in. And it is a game changer. It's great for you physically. It's great for you mentally. I mean, I think with COVID, people know now more so than ever the importance of health and wellness and taking personal responsibility for their health and wellness. And we're seeing, more 2023 for us was a record-breaking year in terms of membership growth, personal training growth, and franchise development growth. And 2024 is going to be an even better year. So it's a great business because selling franchises, I'm able to help people, follow their dreams. And if they follow the processes, procedures, and playbook, do very, very well in this industry. And then they're able to change people's lives in the cities where they own these gyms. So it's very, very fulfilling.
It totally is. Yeah, you can see the touch points. You can really feel the impacts, right? Like I've worked in a lot of technology in my life and worked for some big companies in that early on. And as cool as the tech was and what we were doing, it didn't feel all the time like you were making those impacts in people's lives or, you know what I mean? It just not the same vibe than being an entrepreneur or part of franchising. But you mentioned your growth and I know you're a global brand, right? Like you have some global presence. Tell me a little bit. You've been involved with this brand, like, well, kind of since the beginning, really.
Right.
And you did the consumer marketing. When you first built the brand and as you've evolved the brand, how does scaling to be a global brand and a larger brand? And I might add, can I just share this that you're at 200? Are you officially?
We officially hit 200. Woo-hoo. So we've got.
So that's, yeah. So yeah. That's hundreds is now you're in the big leagues of the brands, and it's hard to get there. It's hard to get to 100. It's hard to get to 200. But congrats! But tell me a little bit about what goes into that, like early planning, and what have you evolved and learned and as you get bigger and there's decisions early on about the brand and the culture and like kind of what goes into that and what did you learn in that
Sure.
process?
So when we first started, we grew organically. We opened our first location here in Georgia, and then had several locations here in Georgia. Then the first state we went to outside of Georgia was Tennessee, and then we went to North Carolina and South Carolina. So we grew organically. Well, now we've got locations from Portland, Oregon to Portland, Maine. We've got our second location that's opening in Arizona right now. We've got a new franchisee in New Mexico. We've got a new franchisee in New Jersey. And so, this business, what's exciting about it is very scalable. I always say your first location is your worst location because you don't know what you don't know. But once you get that first location under your belt to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 5 to 10 to 20, it is very scalable. I'm not going to say it's an easy business, but it is a simple business. So, the key to success with us is keep your clubs clean and sanitized. That's more important now than it's ever been. Keep your equipment well maintained. Don't have ripped up upholstery or broken, equipment with a sign that says, down for maintenance. Keep everything maintained. Hire friendly, service-oriented people. I mean, people like to be noticed. People like to be said, like to be greeted. And if you even say hello and you know, hey, Rob, great to see you, that goes a long way with people. And so really create that culture. And we call it like the culture, create be like cheers.
Right.
Where everybody knows your name, but on the gym space. And so, and that's the type of, you asked me, what's one of the things that differentiates us, and it is the culture. It's the people that we bring into the franchise. I mean, some franchisors don't scrutinize who they bring into the franchise. Well, we do, because if they've got to be a good fit for us, and we've got to be a good fit for them. And if we're good fits, then great. And if they've got the financial ability, great. But everybody comes to a discovery day. It's a team effort. After we're done meeting with franchisees, we all talk to make sure that we all approve and feel like this person's going to be a good fit for us. Because the last thing we want to do is bring somebody on board who doesn't do well. Because if they don't do well, then it's not good for us. So so we scrutinize that. We scrutinize where we go. We do have to turn down sites, and sometimes turning down sites, if somebody comes to us wanting to be a franchisee and they have the site and this is where they want to open, and if we don't believe it, I was looking at my CRM actually this morning, and I remembered this gentleman who is in the pool business, and he always wanted to own gyms, and he had the location that he absolutely wanted to open. And Brandy Trotter, our EVP of development, and I went and did a site visit. And unfortunately, there was too much competition. There was a brand new big box opening less than a mile away. It just did not make sense. And he kind of got mad at us that we wouldn't approve the site, but we were helping him, and he ended up not coming on board as a franchisee. But we would rather that happen than us approve something and then him fail and lose money and the gyms close. That's not the way we do things. So we are very, we walk the walk, we talk the talk, and there's, we provide incredible training and support, and I'll call it unwavering support. I mean, it's funny, I bring on new franchisees, a lot, but I also have
clearly a 200, right?
Yeah. But I also have a great relationship with our franchisees once they're on board. It's not like they come on board and then that's it. I mean, I get calls from franchisees all the time, and I love it that I've got that we have that type of relationship. I've got a franchisee who's actually selling one of his franchises. They're selling, they're moving, and and I'm helping him every step of the way because that's who we are, that's how we are, and that's what we do.
Yeah, no, and I love that, and that's sort of the full life cycle that you're mentioning that I think I don't talk about much actually, but can start, launch, scale, and exit, and you get support all the way through. So, and to your point, I mean, again, I say it over and over all the time. I don't think there is another business opportunity model idea that works anything close like franchising. So you have to do it the way you're saying. Like, there's so many people who'll say, well, learn this thing or get involved with this thing and you can make money or be successful or invest. the truth is the reason franchising works so well is for that, at least with most brands, where you're saying, no, this is a two-way sort of conversation where we're not sure yet if you're the right fit. You could be a billionaire. I don't know. Maybe you'd find a way, right? We want 100 locations. Maybe we'll find a way.
I think we probably figured that one out.
We might have a little.
We'll help him with the hiring.
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes it work, though. That's the point. Like when you just say, "Go ahead, anyone with a a wallet and a credit card or whatever you need," it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I mean, those success stories are less than 10%, if that.
Yep.
And so you just have such a great way to help people in so many levels. So I go on and on about franchising, on and on when I have these interviews. So cool. So tell me, I like to talk about your model because, okay, so you guys kind of revolutionized the idea of being available all the time, right? The people that say, well, I'm crazy. I'm going to go work out at 11 at night, or maybe I have a different schedule, whatever. But you kind of, brought an innovation to the market. Now things are evolving, right? You got different kinds of fitness going on. And like, tell me how you guys look at those trends and how you're positioned as a brand in terms of, because you mentioned something else. And what I'm getting to is, I feel like it's a community. Like you had mentioned the Cheers thing. And I feel like there's a big part of where you kind of want to make those relationships. But wouldn't it be nice to give people flexibility? So if they want to be at night sometimes, they can come. Maybe there's not a lot of people there, or maybe there's no one there. And so there's a difference there, right? But there's the part during the day where there's the community part, the building, the relationships. Tell me how you balance that and how you look at that.
Yeah. So even if you join online, say you join online and you are a fireman and you're going to be, you've got the evening off or whatever, or you need the flexibility of all different times, or you're a doctor and you're on call, whatever. When you join, and we 23% of our members do join online, so they, we know the importance of the website and reviews and everything, and we put a lot of time, effort, and money into that. But they join online. We have something that's called a success session, and what we do is we call them and we welcome them to work at any time, and we let them know that we want to invite them in for a complimentary workout. A trainer will meet with them. They'll take them through a workout. They'll actually create a workout designed specifically for them. They'll find out if they have any medical issues, any injuries, over the years, anything like that. And then we'll take them through a complimentary workout. And that does a couple things. Number one, it begins that beginning of that community feel. Secondly, it makes sure that they understand how to, people can be really intimidated by the gym and intimidated by the equipment, especially some of the, the equipment that you've got to know how to start and put your cardio equipment, things like that. So this helps kind of bridge that gap, making them feel like they belong here right from the beginning. And sometimes what will happen after that is they'll say, wow, that was great. I want to work out with you again. And maybe they'll buy some personal training or join one of our small group trainings or something like that. But even if they don't, they're coming in, they're feeling welcomed, they're meeting the team that's there that day. And we try to help them make this a part of, we talk to them about the importance of making this a part of their regular schedule. So they will come in regularly. So that's one of the things that we do. We also through our POS system, and we have a whole marketing system for our members. And of course we have an app, and we send out regular, health tips and recipes and ways to get them to really be a part of our app, because it's a whole nother community, but it's another great touch point and another way for them to really feel like they're part of the Work at Any Time community. So we really, really push that, and you can use your phone by downloading the app, you can use that to be able to get into the gym. So it has there's multiple reasons to use it, but one of them is absolutely, connectivity. And then you talked about evolving as a brand, and you have to evolve. We tend to say that we stay away from trends, because a lot of times trends come and go. So before we add things to our model, we absolutely do beta tests, and we make sure that it's going to be a good fit for us. We'll try it out at several locations if we feel like it's getting getting great reviews and is working out and is bringing value to our members and our franchisees, and then we will add it. So one of the things that we really worked on, we started working on, and Greg Mauer, our VP of Education, really started doing all the research. But we've added a whole recovery zone to our offerings. So of course we've got great matrix cardio equipment, we've got great strength equipment. Our premium amenities up until a few years ago was just tanning and hydro massage, and members loved that. Well, now we offer infrared saunas, and we offer red light therapy, and we offer cryo beds. We're
I love it. I just have to inject.
Yep.
I asked that question mainly because I want to hear about that. I love it. You're hitting all of them. You have all of you just kind of rattled that off. But yep. I mean, there are some franchise models where they just focus on the cryo, or they do, but you've got like a variety of
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, people, it's so cool to see, because you'll see somebody who comes in the door, I'm at a lot of our grand openings and everything, and people are blown away when they walk in. They're like, holy moly, this is awesome. I get all of this, and the price is only, if you're a premium member at one of our newer locations, and our locations have gotten bigger, by the way, because we do have this whole recovery area. So you can get all of it for $34.99, and you have access to 200 gyms across the U.S. And by the way, when you're in Central America, we've got 3 locations there as well.
So it's kind of a cool place. I mean, I got a friend in Colombia. He lives there. He's like, oh, it's great down here. But anyway,
yeah.
So, well, how about Colorado Springs? I live here, and I feel like I've seen one, but I don't know.
Not yet, but one of my franchisees right now, we are at LOI right now on a location in Colorado. Can't announce where yet, but it looks like we're going to have our first location in Colorado. So I will keep you posted.
I would do that instantly. Flat out, just for the amenities. 34.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, it's funny, because obviously I'm in franchising. I pay attention to franchises, and I'll be, wherever I am. Like, there's a shopping center that I go to because there's a Target, and of course I got to go to Target on a regular basis. But in that same shopping center, there's a Pure Bar, and there is there's a place that does facials. There's a massage place. There's like 4 or 5 franchises that are all within that shopping center. And, and I'll see it a lot of times, they're closed, and there's no cars there. And I'm like, golly, I mean, I wish those people would have known about our business. I mean, the fact that you can, serve your customers 24/7, 365, it gives you the ability to make money 24/7, 365. And so, and since COVID, I think I mentioned this, or I may not have. I mean, people know now more so than ever the importance of health and wellness. And so for the longest time, it was a 20% of a population would join a gym. And that was the number for years and years and years and years. Well, that number has jumped up to 22%. So 2% more people are now working out on a regular basis. And that's huge. I mean, that's huge. So, the potential of this business is and now with the whole, another thing that we offer is there's a whole insurance program. There's the silver sneakers, but there's way more other companies now that are offering health gyms and health and wellness as part of their insurance programs, because they know that the healthier their employees, the more they're going to get out of them. They're going to be more productive. And so that's been a whole nother huge side of the business that we have perfected, and that we rolled out and have now perfected. And we've got one person named Kathy Cooper. She's amazing, and she oversees the whole program. We did close to $6 million last year. And we consider that kind of found revenue. And that was just in the insurance programs. And it's also because with the silver sneakers, it's brought in some of a demographic that we didn't have as much of now. And the great thing about our silver sneakers people is they tend to come in when the gym is least crowded, when there's nobody driving on, when it's not busy on the streets, and when the gym is crowded. So it's it's good for them. It's good for us. So it's a win-win-win.
Tell me more about that program, that insurance program. How does the process work for the franchisee? How do they acquire that business? What's the process again?
So it was silver. It was originally, it started as silver sneakers, Now
Right.
there's a ton of different insurance programs that will pay for your gym memberships. And so Kathy Cooper works with literally all of those different insurance programs to get work at any time signed up with them. And she teaches and trains and gets all the franchisees and their team acclimated with with how you handle it and what you do and all that good stuff. It's amazing, and
Yeah.
it's been a game changer for a lot of gyms,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
and
Well, I think of it like I was
and
just going to say
yeah,
strategically, like I hear, like listen to what you're saying. To me, it opens a whole nother way to acquire members that is just totally no one's looking at, right? So whenever you can do that,
yeah,
you just make it a heck of a lot easier to keep your numbers where they need to be. It's all about KPIs, right? It's all about understanding your metrics and having enough members, and you have your goals, and you have now another bucket to just go over here. No one's competing for really, and it's also like a really good thing to offer. Like that's what you want to be able to help your members with is, hey, there's this pro. Did you know that your insurance was, you know what I mean? And you're on top
yeah,
of it. But that's cool. If you, and I also think, and I don't know if you do this or teach this, but the first thing I would think about is you could partner, with these people that have audiences that are maybe people that don't realize this, and say, you ought to try this program, and this much is covered, and you can present health, present a presentation. I work in senior care, a lot of it, and there's lots of communities, lots of people that you could present to, and maybe provide some value, and then offer them something to the gym, right? And it
yeah,
just, to me, you pick up members left and right. And no one does that, right? So,
absolutely, positively.
right?
No, and the other. Well, there's just so many different types of partnerships that you're able to do as a gym owner, and different types of companies you could partner with. And the training that we offer our franchisees, and that's probably one of the things I'm proudest of, is we have an incredible training department and a training team. And we literally, a lot of people come in as franchisees have never owned their own business. They've never owned their own gym. And we teach them everything they need to be successful. And our training is constantly evolving, because so is our gym. And so, having the online training that our franchisees and their team members go through, and then coming to our franchise academy. And we've also got a transfer academy for people who purchase existing gyms. And we have sales training. We've got PPT, which stands for profitable personal training, which personal training is a whole nother business within the business. But
Right.
the training and support that's offered is just incredible. And it's great for everybody involved. It's great for our members, because all of our team we learn how to do the same thing the same way. So the experience that you get at each one of our locations is very similar, because we're a franchise. So it's something I am very, very proud of.
Yeah. And it's not easy to do what you just said, but that's kind of what franchising is supposed to be, right? But to
Right.
do it, you got to execute well and think about a lot of things. So tell me a little bit about technology. Yeah, I like to hone in. I mean, and maybe it's a AI, right? We hear a lot about AI today. We know that things are going to change here in the coming years, probably more in phases of suddenly, right? Like, oh, suddenly. And so, what's on your mind as it relates to that? When you think of things like robots or automation, where I don't know what's on your mind as a fitness business, as a brand, anything at all? Any thoughts, input, any
Sure. Well, I
predictions
mean,
about how things will change? Yeah.
sure. Well, I mean, in marketing, I mean, AI is involved in marketing, and you're able to see from a marketing standpoint, what ads what ads are getting the clicks, what ads are not. You're able to push, more money towards the marketing that is working. You're able to pull back on the marketing that's not working. I think with AI, it's just going to help make people make smarter decisions in
Yeah.
the future. And obviously it's something that's continues to evolve, but it's something you've got to embrace, because it's here. It's not going anywhere, for sure.
Yeah.
And from an automated standpoint, I mean, from brand dev, I mean, there's a lot of things that are automated in our sales process, which is great, because I mean, I get so many leads on a daily basis that I need it to be automated. And so
Yeah,
that
no doubt.
certainly helps me, and we'll continue with that for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
the marketing that we do to our members, well, members and people who came in and didn't join. I mean, there's a whole automated program for that. And it's great
Yep.
because it's another touch point, and people like to be touched. They like to know that they're remembered, and
Yes.
that we're not just taking, receiving their money and that's it. So
How
it's,
many thinks that touching people is like bothering people? I mean, it could be if it's totally mindless and just like you just said the same thing 4 times in 5 minutes apiece, right? But I
overkill
mean,
is never good.
hey, but I mean, just some simple automation, right? Like maybe, hey, your birthday's coming up, right?
Exactly.
And I don't know if you do that, but there you go. Maybe, but
Yep.
you can build simple automations. And so for me, technology is always about where are problems right now? What kind of problems do we have? What are we solving? Is
Right.
there something we can solve? And so then I, apply it to that. And then what I was also touching on with AI or with the way some of the tech I'm seeing is like I really think so they're talking about wearables. They're talking about like technology really knowing your body.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know you guys are going to be the first people, like your app will be like telling me today you can take it a little easy because you're ahead of schedule or you're a little dehydrated or you're, literally tell you exactly what you got to do to get the most out of that day's workout because it'll know your body that well. Like, I just know that you guys are going to be doing some amazing things in fitness because the healthcare world will evolve very quickly with it. So it's going to be very cool. And I really feel like it's just knowing your body better. Like you don't like we're all very different in a sense, right? Like you don't know what's working against you all the time. Why don't I have energy today? Or
Right.
why am I didn't I get the best workout today? I think we'll know more as this tech evolves, but you'll
Well,
figure it out.
talking about technology, we do have something that we've had now for several years. It's called
Yeah.
StyQ, and it's a body scanner. And it typically, when you're a premium member, that's you get a body scan once a month, complimentary. And the
Oh,
body,
wow.
it'll tell you exactly what your body fat is. You put in, what your fitness goals are. I want to bring my body fat from here down to there. I want to lose, X amount of pounds, blah, blah, blah. Well, all of that information is input, and then the StyQ will then spit out, what your body fat percentage is now, what you're going to need to do from a workout standpoint, your, number of duration and number of times per week and blah, 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 and how long it's going to take you to reach those goals. So it's pretty dang
Well, I
amazing.
haven't heard that. I haven't heard about that, or well, the amenities I've heard about, but not a brand that has like all of them.
We have that as
I
well, and
feel like
it's
you're
powerful.
making me mad that you're not in Colorado. I really
We're
would be
coming, we're
trying to.
coming, we're coming.
I would for 34. I just absolutely would in a heartbeat. I
Yep.
waste so much money on dumb things. I got to get around to canceling on my credit card. You know what I mean? It's like
Yep.
a constant management of all these things these little subscriptions that we tend to pick up. But like to me, yeah, come on. Like I can't even go to Starbucks every week for that. So yeah, very cool stuff. But yeah, that is impactful. So like, I see that evolving, right? To be real time of like, what do I need to do? And just holistic nutrition, everything. But real quick on nutrition. So how do you do that? Because I know a lot of gyms have like a nice bar or they have other things that you handle. Do you do some of that extra stuff around nutrition?
No, the app has definitely got, it has got great tips and things like that from a nutrition standpoint, from an eating standpoint. We don't have a juice bar or anything within our gym. We don't, we want our franchisees to focus on what's most important. And
Yeah.
what's most important is taking care of your members, signing up new members, marketing your gym, building your personal training business, hiring and training your people. You add in, juice bars, and then you've got inventory, and you got to, order stuff, and you've got to worry about shakes going out your back door and all that
Yeah.
other stuff. So we've got, we want you to be focused on what's gonna
That might have
move.
been a trend. That also might have been a trend from like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying that but yeah, it's a whole sort of like almost a distraction. I'm not saying you couldn't have a model with those
What
layers.
one
but I
thing
can
we
see where
do
it's
is,
not core. It's not.
yeah,
I can
it's
see
we
where it's
don't
very.
we it's yeah,
Yeah.
it's not what we want to what we want to be. And we do have a vendor program though, so we do in a lot of our locations there are vending machines. What's great about that is it's absolutely controllable. In there you might have some muscle milk and Gatorade and waters and maybe razors and things that people may have
I was
forgotten that
just
they need.
thinking. I was just thinking they got so many things that are just out of the box. You don't need to mix anything. Like you really don't. You get really good
Exactly.
products. Yeah.
Exactly. So we do,
Yeah.
that's something that we started doing years ago. And, I'd say probably 90% of our franchisees do have a vendor program.
Yeah, very cool. So I want to ask you a question. It might take you a second to answer, but I like to ask people that are accomplished and have been doing something for a long time and care about it, like your legacy and impact, right? Like when you look at your career, like what is the thing that you hope that this fitness business, and now let's use the brand because you've been around it so long. Like, what is the thing that you hope that you had a big impact on that is going to stay there? And maybe you've done it, but like, is there something that you really just hope that I made that impact? Like, is it something you think about, like, as
Yeah.
you've
Well,
been doing
I
this?
tell you what I started doing, and they weren't doing this prior to me. But most of the sales that I make are multi-unit sales, three, fives, tens, and 20s. And when I first came on board, that wasn't the case. They were, maybe selling, one or two or maybe three, but mostly ones and twos, honestly. And so I've been able to help us grow faster, I think, because, when you sell multiples, there's also a development schedule that goes with it. And so we stay on
Yes.
top of the development schedule to make sure that, that we open the gyms as we're supposed to. So that's one piece. Um, and the types of franchisee, the other thing that I implemented was a referral program with our franchisees. And that's been really great because we do reward financially our franchisees who do refer candidates to us. But referrals tend to be some of the best franchisees you can get because they've spoken to the franchisees. I can't give our earnings claims, but the franchisee can certainly talk to their friend about those things. So they're able to get really good information right from our franchisees. And you're doing a pretty darn good job when you get a lot of, as a brand, when you get a lot of referrals from your franchisees, and we do. And we also
Yeah.
have a lot of franchisees that are buying, opening and operating lots of locations. So I'd say 50% of development is through current franchisees who continue to grow with us. And that right there is a testament to the success, of our business model. And then I'll have people reach out to me who they don't have the financial requirements, but they have the drive,
Yeah.
the determination. And so I will spend time with them and I'll say, listen, you're going to have to find a business partner to be able to do this because you got to have these financial requirements. And I'll give them examples of people who did just that. They found partners and it worked for them, which is good. So I've been able to, I like being able to help people. I really do. And sometimes, I'll take the time to talk to them now, even though I know that they don't have the financial wherewithal, because you know what, next month or next year or in 5 years, they may. And so if I can help them and plant some seeds to help them in the future, I'm going to take the time to do that. And I think that that's probably one of the lasting things I've definitely done for the
I think
brand.
that's amazing, especially because what do we talk about the whole time is that this is an impactful brand. They do good work. They make an impact in people's lives. And so you're accelerating that,
Yep,
helping the brand. And that helps again, what did we say? We're all connected. So like your impacts help all the business owners stay into the future to have a
sure.
great brand. Again, it's why the big companies that we all see all the time, like Apple, I'll use them, is a
Yep,
high quality product means that they can always be a high quality product. They can run a high quality business too. Otherwise, that'll start to wane. So that's good to hear. And you're bringing in, why not multi-unit? And I love the referral strategy. That is true. I see it in many brands like that, where it's something to do also with not just the referral and then you're knowing each other, but it's also like if one guy's like a certain way and he's a great franchisee, he tends to have friends that
that are
kind of
like him. Exactly.
Yeah. So that proves itself out. It really
It does.
does. And so
It does.
I was going to ask you, like, just some final tips or advice that you might, give somebody that is, and you kind of started to like, and I would tell anyone listening, you should call Terri because she's going to try to help you figure it out. Right.
Yep.
But what advice would you give, and kind of what are you looking for for your further expansion?
Sure. Well, for anybody who's looking at franchising, best form the best form of information is current franchisees, or even franchisees who are no longer franchisees. And I just had somebody who was looking at our brand and looking at a competing brand, and I had a franchisee who owned the competing brand, sold those, and then bought our franchise. And so I let this gentleman speak to him because he had done both, and he chose us as opposed to the other guys, which was great, of course. But your best form of information is from franchisees. And when you're talking to the person in charge of the development, you don't want them to just give you, their top 10 franchisees. You want to get a nice variety of different types of franchisees that you can speak to, because that's your best form of information. They've done exactly what you're thinking about doing. And I tell people when I talk to them on the phone this all the time, and it's the truth, is my job is to give you all the information you need to make a great decision, whatever that decision is. And I'm a big believer in the no surprise rule, because listen, when somebody comes on board as a franchisee, it's not like, this is a 10-year marriage. So I want to make sure that we're a good fit for them, they're a good fit for us, and that there are no surprises where they come back to me and say, wait a minute, you never told me this or whatever. So you really want to take the time, do your due diligence, talk to other franchisees, really read through your FDD, and make sure you go visit, not just one location, but go visit a variety of their locations, so you can really get a good feel for the brand. And if you do all of that, then you should definitely be able to make a great decision, whatever it is, whatever that decision may be.
Exactly. And making one is an important step. That's what I was thinking of when you said that. I'm like, if you do all that, don't worry, just do it. Make the decision. Like, there's no guarantees in anything in life. But like I said, with franchising, it is the route if you're going to, jump from, say, being employed to being a business owner. So very cool stuff. Great advice. Thanks for being here. Now, how can people connect with you guys? What's the best website, phone numbers, anything else you might share to connect with you guys?
So our website is workatanytime.com, and then you'll see buy a gym. Click on that, and then my contact information is there. But better than that, or maybe not better than that, but in addition to that, there's a ton of testimonial videos that are on the franchise site. And these are franchisees talking about everything. We ask them questions. Tell us about the real estate process. Tell us about site selection. Tell us about the training. Tell us about the support you receive. We talk about every aspect of the business, and people are able to see these videos. And these are unscripted videos, and they're franchisees who are just talking about their experiences. And it's impactful, and it's a ton of great information. So definitely watch those. Yeah. And then you can also call me, and I do answer the phone. I'm one of the few people who actually answers the phone on a regular basis, which is good. If I don't answer, I will definitely call you back, and you can text me, and I'll just throw this number out there. My number is 404-786-7410. That is my mobile number, and call me, text me. I'd love to help you any way I can.
Very good. Very good. And a huge benefit to anyone that take an hour with Terri. It would be expensive consulting you get for free. So
exactly.
I always say that with all you guys, because you're all like really smart in your fields. And it's like, if you have any interest at all, you need to reach out. It's a great way to kind of move forward. So Good stuff. Thank you so much. And I know I'm going to have you back. So we're going to keep talking about this evolution of tech and how it helps with nutrition and energy and working out. I just know there's going to be more coming into all these models, but it'll be fun to watch. And I definitely want to get one here. So I'll be looking. I don't know where it's going to be.
Well, like I mentioned, we do have a referral program, so we'll have to talk about that after the show.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, anyway, thanks again, Terry, for being on the show. Thanks to the audience for tuning in today, and bye for now.